everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, and I'm really happy to have you with us today.
And I'm Julia. We are so glad you're here because today's topic is super exciting and very important for every English learner.
That's right. We're going to talk about how to think in English. Many learners can read and write in English, but when it comes to speaking, they feel stuck. Why? Because they are always translating from their native language into English in their head.
Exactly. And that translation step takes time, makes you nervous, and sometimes even makes you lose confidence. But when you learn to think directly in English, everything changes. You can speak faster, understand better, and sound more natural.
In today's podcast, we're going to show you what it really means to think in English, why it's so powerful, and how you can train your brain to do it step by step.
And don't worry, we'll also share some easy daily practices, mistakes to avoid, and even a small challenge for you at the end.
So, if you're ready to stop translating and start thinking in English, stay with us. This episode is going to be really useful.
Let's get started.
So, Julia, before we go deeper, let's answer the big question. What does it actually mean to think in English?
Good point, Jason. Many learners hear this advice, but they're not always sure what it means. Thinking in English simply means using English words, phrases, and sentences in your mind without first translating from your native language.
Right. For example, imagine you see an apple. If you're thinking in your native language first, you'll say the word in your own language and then translate it to English. Oh, that's an apple. That process is slow.
But if you're thinking directly in English, you see the apple and immediately the word apple, or even a phrase like I want to eat that apple comes to your mind. There's no translation in the middle.
Exactly. It's like when native speakers see something, they don't have to translate, they just recognize it and think in their own language right away. For English learners, the goal is to build the same habit with English.
And it doesn't have to be only words. Thinking in English also means making short sentences in your head. For example, if you're walking outside, you can think, "The weather is nice today," or "I'm going to the store." These small sentences in your mind are the start of real thinking in English.
That's a great way to put it. So, in short, thinking in English means your brain starts using English naturally, without translation, for daily thoughts, ideas, and even feelings.
And the best part is, you don't need perfect grammar in your thoughts. Just the practice of using English in your mind makes your fluency stronger over time.
I love that. So, thinking in English is really about training your brain to skip the translation step and go straight to English words and sentences.
Yes, and that's what makes speaking easier, faster, and more natural.
Now that we know what it means to think in English, let's talk about the problems learners face when they try to do it.
Yes, because almost every learner struggles at first. One of the biggest problems is translating word by word. Many learners see something, think of it in their native language, and then try to change it into English.
And the problem with that is, it takes too much time. Imagine you're having a conversation. While you're translating, the other person is waiting, and you feel nervous.
Exactly. That nervous feeling can make you even slower, and sometimes you might forget what you wanted to say.
Another common problem is the fear of making mistakes. Learners want to think in English, but they stop themselves because they're worried. What if my grammar is wrong? Or what if I use the wrong word?
That's so true. But here's the thing. Your thoughts don't need perfect grammar. Even if you think, "he go to school" instead of "he goes to school," it's okay. The important thing is you're thinking in English, not translating.
I like that. Progress is more important than perfection. Now, another issue is slow response time. Many learners can understand English, But when they try to reply, their brain feels heavy. It's like their thoughts are stuck in two languages.
Yes, and that's normal in the beginning. It just means your brain is not yet used to running in English. It takes practice to become faster and more natural.
So, to summarize, the common problems are translating word by word, fear of mistakes, and slow response in conversations.
And the good news is, all of these problems can be solved with the right practice, which we'll talk about in the next sections.
All right, Julia. Now that we've talked about the problems, let's move to the positive side. What are the real benefits of thinking in English?
There are so many, but let's start with the biggest one, fluency. When you think directly in English, you speak faster and more smoothly because you're not wasting time translating in your head.
Yes, that's a huge benefit. It's like removing a barrier. If your thoughts are already in English, the words just flow out more naturally.
Exactly. And another benefit is confidence. Many learners feel shy because they're always second-guessing their words. But when you train your brain to think in English, you trust yourself more and you start speaking with less fear.
I agree. Confidence really changes the whole experience of learning. And I'd also say another big benefit is understanding native speakers better. When you listen to movies, songs, or real conversations, your brain can catch the meaning faster if you're already thinking in English.
That's a great point. If your brain is working in your own language, you'll always be one step behind. But if it's working in English, you can follow along more naturally.
So, to put it simply, thinking in English makes you fluent, confident, and better at understanding others.
Yes, and those three things together can really change your English learning journey.
I think that's motivation enough for our listeners to start practicing.
Definitely. And the good news is, it doesn't have to be complicated. There are simple steps you can take every day to train your brain.
Okay, Julia. Now we come to the most important part of today's episode. How can learners actually train their brain to think in English?
Yes, this is where it gets practical. We're going to share simple step-by-step ways. And the good thing is, you don't need any special tools, just daily practice and consistency.
Great. So let's start with step 1. Begin with simple thoughts in English. Instead of trying to make big, complex sentences in your head, just start small. For example, when you wake up, think, I am tired, or I need water.
That's right. Small and easy sentences are powerful. If you try to think about difficult topics right away, you'll feel frustrated. But if you start with simple everyday thoughts, your brain slowly gets used to working in English.
Exactly. Which brings us to step 2. Practice with daily objects and activities. Look around you and name what you see. For example, this is my phone. I'm drinking tea. The window is open.
Yes, this is like giving your brain little reminders that English is everywhere. The more you connect English to your real life, the faster you'll start thinking naturally in it.
Now let's move to step 3. Use self-talk and your inner voice. This is one of my favorites. Basically, you talk to yourself in English, inside your head, or even out loud.
Oh, I love this one too. For example, if you're cooking, you can say, I'm cutting the onion. Or if you're walking outside, I see a big dog. It may feel strange at first, but it's a fantastic way to practice.
Absolutely. It's like creating your own mini English world inside your mind. And don't worry about mistakes. The point is to practice, not to be perfect.
Right. Now, step 4. Watch, listen, and imagine in English. When you watch a movie or listen to a podcast, try not just to understand, but also to imagine yourself in the conversation. For example, if a character says, "How was your day?" Imagine how you would answer in English.
That's a powerful trick. You're not only listening, but also participating with your mind. And this makes your brain more active in English, instead of just being a quiet listener.
Exactly. And finally, step 5. Think in full sentences, not single words. Many learners only think apple, book, or go, but to really train your brain, you need to connect those words into short sentences like, I want an apple, or she is reading a book.
Yes, sentences are key because that's how real conversation works. Even short sentences like, I'm hungry, or the bus is late help you build natural thinking habits.
And remember, this process takes time. You won't start thinking fully in English overnight, but if you practice these 5 steps every day, you'll notice big changes in a few months.
That's right. So let's quickly repeat the steps. Start with simple thoughts. Practice with daily objects. Use self-talk and inner voice. Watch, listen, and imagine in English. Think in full sentences.
And if our listeners follow these steps consistently, their brain will slowly shift from translation to natural English thinking.
Exactly. That's the real secret to fluency. All right, Julia, we've shared the steps for training your brain. But I think it's also important to talk about what mistakes learners should avoid.
Yes, because sometimes learners practice in the wrong way, and it actually slows down their progress. One big mistake is forcing speed too early. They try to think super fast in English from the very beginning.
Right, and that usually leads to frustration. It's okay to think slowly at first. Speed will come naturally with practice.
Exactly. Another mistake is focusing too much on grammar while thinking. Some learners stop every few seconds to ask, is this sentence correct? But remember, your inner thoughts don't need perfect grammar.
That's so true. Thinking time is practice time, not exam time. And one more mistake is depending only on translation apps. If you always check Google Translate for every word, your brain never learns to work in English on its own.
Yes, using a dictionary is okay sometimes, but don't make it a habit. The goal is to let your brain become more independent in English.
So, to keep it simple, don't force speed, don't over-focus on grammar, and don't depend too much on translation.
Exactly. Avoid these mistakes and your practice will be much smoother.
So, Julia, we've talked about steps and mistakes, but I know our listeners are wondering, how can I fit this into my daily life?
Yes, that's a great question. And the answer is a simple daily routine. You don't need hours of study. Just a few minutes every day can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Let's break it down. Morning routine. When you wake up, try to think 1 or 2 sentences in English. For example, I'm still sleepy, or I need to brush my teeth. It's a simple way to start your day with English.
That's a great habit. Next is small practice during the day. Whenever you're doing something normal, like eating lunch, waiting for the bus, or shopping, describe it in English in your head. For example, I'm buying bread, or the bus is late again.
Yes, and it doesn't need extra time, because you're just using the moments that are already part of your life.
Exactly. Then comes the evening reflection. Before you go to bed, take 1 or 2 minutes to think about your day in English. For example, today was busy. I met my friend. We had coffee together.
I love that. It's like making a short daily diary, but in your mind. And if learners do this every day, they'll slowly train their brain to live more in English.
That's right, so the plan is morning routine, small practice in the day, and evening reflection. Very simple, very effective.
And the best part is, you don't need to be perfect. The key is to be consistent. Now, Julia, I think our listeners might be asking themselves, does this really work? Can I really train my brain to think in English?
Yes. And the answer is absolutely yes. I've seen so many learners succeed with this method. For example, one of my students used to translate every single sentence in her head. She was shy and very slow in conversations.
I can imagine that must have been hard for her.
It was. But she started small, just thinking about her daily activities in English. After a few months, she told me, "Julia, I don't even notice it now. I just think in English automatically." Her fluency improved so much.
That's such a powerful example. I had a similar story with a friend who moved abroad. At first, he struggled a lot, but after making English part of his daily thoughts, like shopping lists, plans, even jokes in his head, he became fluent and confident.
That's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter where you live. You can train your brain anywhere, as long as you practice daily.
Exactly. And we want our listeners to know, if others can do it, you can too. Consistency is the secret.
Yes, just keep going, even if progress feels slow. One day you'll suddenly realize, wow, I'm thinking in English without even trying.
All right, Julia. I think it's time to give our listeners a little challenge, something they can start right away.
Yes, challenges are a great way to stay motivated. So here's our idea. Let's call it the 7-Day Think in English Challenge.
I love it. So, how does it work?
Very simple. For the next 7 days, we want you to spend at least 5 minutes a day thinking in English. You don't need to speak out loud, just use your inner voice.
And to make it easier, we'll give you a small task for each day. For example, Day 1. When you wake up, describe your morning routine in English. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making tea.
Then Day 2. When you're outside, describe what you see. The sun is bright, a car is passing, and so on. Each day you can choose a small theme: food, family, your plans, your feelings.
By the end of 7 days, your brain will already feel more comfortable thinking in English.
Exactly. And if you like the challenge, don't stop after 7 days. Keep going. Make it a daily habit.
So, listeners, are you ready? Start today, and in just 1 week, you'll see the difference.
Yes, we believe in you. You can do this.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode on how to think in English.
Yes, we hope you found it helpful and now feel motivated to train your brain to think directly in English.
Remember, the key points are simple. Start small, practice every day, avoid common mistakes, and be consistent. Your brain will gradually adjust, and you'll see real improvement in your fluency and confidence.
And don't forget our 7-Day Think in English challenge. It's a small step, but it can make a big difference if you do it daily.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really enjoyed sharing these tips with you.
Yes, and we can't wait to hear about your progress. Keep practicing, stay positive, and remember, you can do this.
That's it for now. See you in the next episode of the English Learning Podcast.
Goodbye, everyone. Happy practicing.